So the first one we're going to talk about is sleep, nutrition, activity, and then other health issues. So how many of you had a good 8 hours of sleep last night? Raise your hand. Whoa, more than I thought. Well, let's see here. Sleep statistics. There is between 50 to 70 million adults that have sleep-related disorders. These were from 2009, so they're even a few years old. But they did a study, actually, and at the time of the study, 35% of adults get less than 7 hours of sleep per night. 39% of adults fall asleep during the day at least once. And this is the scary part. Approximately 5% of adults nod off at least once while they're driving. Why sleep is important. Sleep deprivation can cause poor decision making, loss of memory, mood disorders, irregular release of hormones or blood sugar, abnormal heart function, and it may even increase the risk of obesity or diabetes, type 2 diabetes. Now, some of these things here, are they starting to sound familiar with some of the Chiari symptoms? Yeah. So healthy sleep habits. How can you get your sleep more regulated? We want you to create a consistent bedtime routine. Some of those things include, and I know they sound really simple and silly, but a lot of them work quite well for people. A warm bath or shower, lavender candles or bath salts for relaxation. Chamomile tea is actually very effective as well. Read a book or listen to relaxing music. I had a teenager once that listened to music, but it made her more hyper during the night and she couldn't sleep. And I said, well, what were you listening to? And she said, rap. So relaxing, I guess, is whatever helps you relax. Avoid watching TV, working on the computer, or playing computer games for at least an hour or so before you go to bed. And then avoid heavy exercise 1 to 2 hours before bedtime. Do not eat large meals or drink large amounts of fluids before you get ready to go to bed as well. Avoid nicotine, caffeine, and alcohol. You want to sleep in a cool, dark, and quiet bedroom or room. Try to eliminate or limit the daytime naps. Some people have their sleep patterns so reversed that they're awake during the night and then they nap during the day. And then it kind of just becomes this vicious cycle. And that's really hard to break. And then find healthy ways to manage stress. Do any of you guys have healthy ways to manage stress? It's difficult. Any good ideas out there? Exercise. Great. I'm sorry? Meditate. Yep. Very good. Okay. So now I'm going to move on to nutrition, and I'm just going to bring up obesity real quickly. Obesity in the United States, actually, there's 35% of the adults are obese. In 2008, I couldn't find any more recent statistics in 2008, but at that time, approximately $147 billion were spent on obesity-related conditions. So it's a big problem, like Dr. Oro had mentioned. Colorado has the lowest rate of obesity at 20.7%. Mississippi has one of the highest rates. It ranges anywhere from 20 up to, I believe, 35 or 39%. And the further south and east that you are, the higher the rate. So it's, I think, the culture, the fried foods, the way people cook. Preventable obesity-related conditions. The number one cause of death is heart disease. Stroke is number 4. And diabetes is number 7. So those are in the top 10. And there's more, but these are just 3 of the related conditions. So what should I weigh? Has anyone heard of body mass index or BMI? It's kind of a complicated formula. However, it's a screening tool that is used to calculate body weight and body fat. They use the formula to with the weight and the height. I just recommend, if you want to know what yours is, go to Google, and they have programs on there. It's much easier. So underweight is considered below 18.5. Normal body weight is between 18.5 and 24.9. And that's what we look for in our clinic for the healthiest weight. Overweight is 25 to 29.9. And then obese is considered 30 or greater. Benefits of good nutrition. It helps lowers the risk of health problems, helps with sleep, it increases our energy level, improves our self-image, reduces stress on the body, and helps improve our quality of life. Changing eating habits. A lot of times that is very difficult, especially when we're used to eating the way we're eating for several years. One of the big ones I recommend is eating fewer calories. Drink a minimum of 2 to 3 quarts of water per day. Eat 5 small meals per day every 3 to 4 hours. And this looks easy, but sometimes it's more difficult than you think. Do not eat large portions. Avoid foods that are high in quote-unquote bad fats. And eliminate MSG, which is a type of sodium, and aspartame, which is a sugar substitute that's found in a lot of the sodas and other foods. Choosing healthy foods, grill or bake lean cuts of meat, chicken or fish. Eat fresh berries. Fresh berries are high in antioxidants. Raspberries, strawberries, blueberries, boysenberries, and cranberries, I think, are the major ones. Root vegetables, cauliflower, broccoli, white potatoes with the skins on, things of that nature. Kale is a good vegetable too, that is a dark green leafy vegetable that is healthy. Nuts, raw almonds, pistachios, walnuts, and hazelnuts are healthy. And good fats, which consist of avocados, or if you're going to be using any oils for cooking, use coconut oil or olive oil, the dark olive oil. And if you have any questions, please feel free to interrupt me. I want to keep this as interactive as possible. Does everyone know what gluten is? There's a lot of talk about gluten, and it's becoming more and more talked about. Gluten is a protein that is found in different grains, barley, rye, and wheat. You've probably heard about celiac disease, and several years ago, gluten wasn't really talked about except for patients that had celiac disease and they were allergic to gluten and could not be exposed to any gluten at all. Now we think a lot of people have a gluten intolerance or gluten sensitivity, but not necessarily are allergic to gluten. Really the cause is unknown, but celiac disease is an autoimmune disease, so it doesn't necessarily mean that you have a food allergy, it's just they are allergic to it. Gluten intolerances, and I think Diane brought this up a little bit ago, include like abdominal discomfort, bloating, constipation, diarrhea, loss of hair, fatigue, weight gain. So if you think you could have a gluten intolerance, try going gluten-free for 3 months and see how you feel after that 3 months. Products with gluten, it's amazing. Read the labels. I had no idea until a patient told me recently that gluten is in most shampoo and conditioners as well as in makeup. Do you guys know that? Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't. Now, a lot of them are very low gluten, but they're not totally gluten-free enough for them to put gluten-free on the package. So, yeah, that was news to me. Avoid processed foods when possible. So, and gluten-free actually will help decrease inflammation, and that's some new documentation out there that I found from 2012. Activity, it helps lower the risk of serious diseases. Weight loss and or maintaining your healthy weight is also a benefit of activity. It helps maintain healthy bones, muscles, and joints. Improves mood and helps improve balance. There's two different types of exercises. Aerobic is the first kind, and some examples are running, elliptical, cycling, swimming, and rowing. Diane also mentioned that it sometimes is better to do smaller amounts of exercise 2 to 3 times a day than try to run 3 miles all at once. If you can't tolerate long periods of exercise, do just a little bit. Even if it's a block, or even if it's walking to the end of the driveway and back 2 times. Getting outside, if you can, as much as you can, is it helps just your overall mood and health in general. Muscle strengthening is the second type of exercise, and that works on your, really your core muscle groups, your arms, your legs, your quads, your abdominals. Different strengthening exercises include yoga, Pilates, push-ups or sit-ups, abdominal crunches, and weightlifting is also with. And if you're not able to tolerate a lot of weightlifting, sometimes just using like a can of soup or something at home. It doesn't have to be a lot of weight. Caffeine. These are just a couple other little things that I threw in. We rely on caffeine pretty heavily. We use it for energy and to wake us up in the morning, especially if we don't have good sleep. How many caffeine users do I see out there? Yeah, a lot of us need caffeine, don't we? What is the latest time in the day that you drink caffeine? Can you drink caffeine up until you go to bedtime and then sleep? Whoa. Okay. Well, we recommend that you don't have any caffeine after 12 o'clock noon. But caffeine actually doesn't bother everybody. But it stimulates the central nervous system. It can cause insomnia, which is one of the things that we look at in the office. Irritability, nervousness, heart palpitations. And again, sometimes these, if you think about it, these are some of the symptoms that Diane kind of talked about, as far as the Chiari symptoms, palpitations, nervousness, things like that. Tobacco use. In 2010, there was a study done, 68% of adult smokers, they wanted to stop. It's just, it's difficult. 52% had tried to quit in the past year. 31% had used medications and or counseling to help quit. Successful methods they find really are individual, group, or telephone counseling. And they have a lot of resources out there that they used to not have. Medications, and then different behavioral programs. Health benefits of quitting, and I was not aware that the benefits of quitting happened so quickly to our body. Within the first 2 days, actually it lowers our blood sugar and our heart rate blood pressure and our heart rate back down within normal. The carbon monoxide levels decrease to normal. The oxygen level in our blood returns to normal. The chance of heart attack decreases. Smokers that quit before age of 35, they have the same mortality rate as non-smokers. And does anyone know that today's the 37th Great American Smokeout Day to quit? Today, yep. Looked it up on the internet twice, so I know that's true. Yes. Other health benefits of quitting is food will actually taste better. You'll have your sense of smell will probably return. Breathing is easier. Walking and exercise is easier as well. And it lowers the risk for a disease. And it helps save money. So I'm going to just mention a couple slides about alcohol. Adult alcohol statistics. From age 18 to 44, 67% of the adults use alcohol beverages. From 45 to 64, 62%. And 65 years and older, 41% of people drink alcohol. I was also not aware of this. One drink is equal to a 12-ounce bottle of beer, or 5 ounces of wine, or 1.5 shots of a hard liquor that's 80 proof. And beer or wine isn't necessarily safer than a spirits or liquor. I think sometimes we have that perception that it may be. Consider the following. Review your medications with your physician before you use alcohol. You want to make sure that there's not any interactions. Do not drink if you have health problems that may get worse with alcohol. Avoid alcohol if you have a history of problem drinking. And do not drive if you have been drinking. So, to summarize, the equation for a healthy lifestyle is restful sleep, wholesome nutrition, and regular activity equals an improved quality of life. So those are basically the things that we kind of review with in our clinic just when we do an overall evaluation. Yeah. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Whole grains. Well, there's, I think, a lot of controversy out there about that. I would go by what your physician says. Has your physician recommended one thing or the other to do whole grains or to go gluten-free? Yeah. Yeah. But you're right. There are a lot of nutritional people out there that say do everything when that's whole grains. So we kind of look at patients' overall health and some of their symptoms. And if they have symptoms that kind of look like, well, hey, maybe there is some gluten intolerance here, let's try gluten-free for a few months. And so those are the types of things that Diane and I look at when we're evaluating patients for their health day. I know there's no easy answers. Okay.